Attraction here, because the more that you see your goal in a picture, the more that you will feel determined. And I was able to apply this. Hello guys, welcome to my vlog, and today I'm going to share with you my NCLEX journey and on how I passed the NCLEX in one take. But before we move on, please don't forget to like and subscribe on my channel to get an update about my future posts, because I will definitely share with you guys some NCLEX tips that will definitely help you to pass the NCLEX. And before we start, I would like to put a disclaimer that this vlog is not sponsored by an agency or a review center, and all of the details that I will be mentioning in this vlog is just based on my experience. So before we begin, I would like first to give a brief background about what NCLEX is all about. So NCLEX means it is a National Council licensure examination to those who are aspiring registered nurses in the United States of America. So if you are like me, who are a nurse in the Philippines, and I'm aspiring registered nurse in the US, so I need to take the NCLEX so that I will be able to practice as a registered nurse in the United States. So NCLEX is a computer adaptive test, meaning that the score that you will be getting is just either pass or fail. So as of this time, the minimum number for NCLEX is 75 items and the maximum number is 145, because they modified that this pandemic asks you on your next questions. So imagining that this is the line or the graph for your NCLEX exam, and above here is the passing line and below here is the failing line. So for you to pass the NCLEX, your first number or your first question will be on mid difficulty level. So if you answered it correctly, your next question will progress to a more difficult question. So the more correct answer you get, the more that your question will be difficult. So if you notice that your questions are getting easier, you need to watch out and tell yourself that you need to fix your answers. You need to perform well on your exam. Anything about that, I will be tackling that on my future vlog, so that we will be discuss it properly. So let's proceed on the first part of my NCLEX journey on how I filed the application in New York State Board of Nursing. So how I process the NCLEX, at first I really don't have an idea on how am I going to file an application in New York State Board of Nursing. So I look online if there is an agency that could probably help me or assist me on my NCLEX journey, and luckily I was able to find the IPAS processing, and they assisted me on filing for my NCLEX, and I did not experience any hassle. So after you received your eligibility, meaning to say that the Board of Nursing have done reviewing your credentials and they found out that you are qualified to take the NCLEX. And once you are eligible to take the NCLEX, that's about time for you to get an ATT. And based on my experience, it will take around 1 to 2 weeks for you to receive your ATT from New York State Board of Nursing. And after that, once you get your ATT, you can definitely select a slot or book a slot for your NCLEX exam. In this pandemic, do not expect that you will get the same date that you book for NCLEX, because it's very common now this pandemic that they are unscheduling your exam. So do not fret on that. Just keep on chatting the person representative, and anything about that I will be discussing on my next vlog also. So now let's assume that you already have your ATT and your date of exam. So it is valid for 6 months during this pandemic. So this is a perfect time for you to push yourself and to be very determined to study for NCLEX exam intensively. So what are the preparation or review materials that I used on my NCLEX review? So for the review materials that I used Sandro's book, 7th edition. I even availed an online review, which is the Mind of Academy, and enrolled again in another online review, which is the NCLEX Unlimited to polish my nursing concepts. I even availed Uworld and answered La Charity, Q-Banks, and then read the 37 pages NCLEX reviewer. Then listened to Norsara and listened to Markley McAudio. So I use all of them, but you really need to choose which materials that will definitely suit you. Okay? So how often do I study for NCLEX? So I make sure to study every day, because it's very difficult to regain this momentum that you have invested for a long time. So even though I take a break, I make sure that I will get at least 1 to 2 hours for me to open my notes and go over on this lectures, so that I will not be able to break my momentum. So how I pass the NCLEX, I familiarize the concepts. I go over it at least 4 to 5 times until I get familiar to it, and I make sure that I understand the concepts, and then I have learned on how to answer NCLEX type of questions by using Uworld or La Charity or other Q-Banks. Okay, if you see yourself that your scores are ranging from, if you, example, you take 800 items exam, and then you see yourself that your scores are ranging from at least 70 over 100 or more than that, that's a good sign that you are learning a lot from your intensive review. But I would like to give a disclaimer also that the scores doesn't really define or judge you on your final performance on your actual exam. It's just a guide or an assessment on how well you are preparing for your NCLEX. It really depends on you guys. You know yourself, on how do you prepare for certain exams. So you need to assess yourself, engage yourself on how long you want to review, how often you want to review, on what things that will definitely help you to understand what you are learning. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching my NCLEX journey and how I passed the NCLEX, and I hope that it motivated you to take the NCLEX, to focus on your review and be a USRN. If you have any topics that you want me to discuss, just comment down below, and I will try my best to create a vlog regarding it.